The Cowboys. Sometimes they cannot be taken seriously, and Jerry Jones just reminded us of why that is. What is up, everyone, and welcome into A to Z Sports Dallas Primetime. I am your host, Mauricio Rodriguez, streaming with you live every Sunday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central, and catching up with you Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays here at A to Z Sports Dallas. Welcome, everyone, into the show. Let's get directly into it, man. Jerry Jones talked to the media after the game, and obviously, he talked about Mike McCarthy and the situation around Mike McCarthy. Now, we're going to get into several things that he said, and we're going to get into some of the news of the day, including the fact that the Bears are requesting an interview with Mike McCarthy, and we'll get into what Jerry Jones said about potentially Mike talking to other teams and all that. But before we dive into that, I want to talk about the one thing that really stuck out to me from Jerry Jones's around 40-minute long interview with reporters in the tunnels of AT&T Stadium, because there's one thing that I listened to and I couldn't help but think, this is why the Cowboys are not taken seriously for top candidates around the league when it comes to head coaching jobs. And I'm thinking about Ben Johnson, but I'm also thinking about whoever is among the top coaches around the NFL. This is why we never consider them serious candidates for them. And that's why I also think they don't even show interest in them. Because I kind of think the Cowboys know where they're at. And I kind of think that the Cowboys want to steer clear from being turned down, if you know what I mean. Now, you might be thinking, well, Mo, that's some strong statements. So why don't you tell us what you're talking about? And I'll show you right this moment. Jerry Jones talking to the media the other day sounded like a little bit of a casual fan when he talked about signing a coach to an incentive-based deal, right? And this is the actual quote that he had, and I'm showing you my article over at A to Z Sports in case you want to check that out. I will link that in the description. But Jerry Jones says most of the fans want everybody to be on the incentive plan. Everybody wants it to be on the incentive plan, and so the more you can have the incentive plan, to me, the better. You've got the way sports is aligned with a goal of having accomplishment, and you align that with the financial end of it. For instance, and this is the best part, Cowboys Nation, listen up. This is what Jerry Jones said. For instance, I might say, look, I'm going to pay you this much, but then I'll pay you not anymore. And I know you want twice that, but if you get to the playoffs or you win a Super Bowl, then I'll give you 5 times that. Now, this is how Jerry Jones thinks of the head coaching market right now in 2025, when they might consider shopping for a new head coach. They haven't done anything. Mike McCarthy's still under contract, so there's all that. Now, sorry. If you're reading that quote or you're listening to that quote, as a fan, you might think, well, that makes sense to me. Why not? Let's get these coaches in on incentives, these players in on incentives. And if they want to get paid, then they'll have to win. That doesn't really sound good in the theory, but that sounds good to fans. The thing is, Jerry Jones shouldn't be thinking as a casual football fan. He should be thinking as an owner and as a general manager, because he insists that that title belongs to him. The thing is, coaches don't operate like that because that's not how the coaching market operates. Listen, Jerry Jones is talking about paying a coaching candidate half of what he wants with the upside of potentially getting paid even more than that. What Jerry Jones should be thinking, right, if winning was a priority, if they weren't optimizing for the bottom line, but instead for total of Lombardi trophies on their trophy case over at the Star in Frisco, Jerry Jones would be thinking, well, I need to pay the coach that I want as much as it costs to get him in the market, right? Within the boundaries of the market. No NFL team will be offering half what a coach wants because they're offering the upside to make 5 times that through incentives. Never mind that those incentives are not even fully within the control of the coaches, because Obviously, the coach needs the team to pay better players and to build a team, and he needs the quarterback to play well and the other players to play well. No coach would agree to getting half of the salary for the upside of five times whatever he wants to make, right? And the ironic part of it, and I would say the frustrating part of it, is Jerry Jones multiple times has told the media and has told fans that if he could sign a check that would guarantee him the Super Bowl, he wouldn't mind writing out plenty of zeros. He would do it. And he kind of pitches this story to fans where he's like, but I cannot do it because there's a salary cap that keeps me from doing so when it comes to acquiring talent, when it comes to getting players. We've talked so much about how that is a lie in the sense that the Cowboys, sure, like every other NFL team, are dealing with a cap constraint, but we've talked so much about how much that constraint can be manipulated and tweaked and adjusted so you can keep spending cash over cap and get a better team built for the season. But when it comes to hiring coaches, there's no salary cap. And when it comes to hiring coaches, Jerry Jones is saying, well, I want to pay them half and then add incentives on top of that. And the incentives are winning the Super Bowl, making the playoffs, right? And it's crazy to me that the same man that tells you, if I could spend more money, I would, and obviously knowing that is a lie, when it comes to the one hire of the leader of men of his football team that is not limited by a salary cap, in that area of team building, he wants to pay half. He wants to do what no NFL team is doing. He wants to go against the market and then do this thing where he's like, yeah, I'll just do incentives, which might be done for coaches around the league, but they're not done in that context. They're done in the context of I'll pay you what I think you're worth, and then I'll add incentives to motivate you to go the extra mile, or not even go the extra mile, but to reward you, not motivate you even. I would say to reward you for winning ball games, right? But it's not I'll pay you half and then I'll add incentives. It's I'll pay you what you want and I'll also add incentives, or I pay you 10% less and I'll add incentives, and I'll do this and I'll do that. It's never I'll pay you half. And I think when Jerry Jones goes out there and puts these things in the media, and he's not even joking, he's saying it with total and utter seriousness, that's why it's hard to take them seriously. That's why it's hard to think that Ben Johnson has a shot at landing with the Cowboys, because if they call Ben Johnson up and they tell him, hey, listen, we'll pay you this much money, but the trick is about 80% of that is in incentives, you're not going to get a meeting. You're not going to get a follow-up call. You're not going to get anything. Now, when I combine that with how they're treating Mike McCarthy now, and you can have whatever opinion you want on Mike McCarthy. You might want him back. You might want him gone. But when you objectively look at the way they're handling things, you also come across a lack of seriousness. And this is what I'm talking about. There's a report out there from Adam Schefter from ESPN that the Bears have requested to interview Mike McCarthy for their own head coaching spot. Because the Bears might be thinking, well, I don't know what you're going to do, but if I could talk to him, because I want to consider him, that would be great. The Cowboys have not responded to that request, according to Adam Schefter. But on Sunday, Jerry Jones, talking to the media, said, hey, sure, go talk, right? Go talk to other coaches, to other teams, because I don't want anyone that doesn't want to be here, right? I'll get you the exact quote, actually. But that's, in essence, what Jerry Jones said. And it might not have been a direct warning, but if you're Mike McCarthy and they're telling you, oh, yeah, sure, go talk to other teams. I don't want anyone who doesn't want to be here anyway. What does that imply? It kind of implies, in my opinion, that if you take that interview, you're saying, I don't want to be here, even though that's not really what you're saying, and the Cowboys would move on, right? This is the exact quote from Jerry Jones. I would say, and he's being asked about Mike McCarthy not knowing and having potential interest from other teams. And Jerry Jones said, I would say go talk to other teams. I really would. I just let Sick do that. I don't want anybody here that's not healthy to have somebody around that wants to be someplace else. But that's totally and completely unfair from Jerry Jones to say, because Mike McCarthy is not saying, I don't want to be here, so I'll talk to the Bears and I'll go with them instead. That's not what Mike McCarthy is doing at all. Mike McCarthy does not know if he's going to return to Dallas because the Cowboys have not told him. Even though on Monday, by Monday 7 a.m., around 7 a.m., we already knew what the Bears were going to do. No, we already knew about Bears interview requests. Sorry, they fired their coach earlier in the year. We knew that the Patriots had fired Gerard Mayo. We knew that the Jaguars had fired Doug Peterson. We knew that the Giants were keeping Brian Daboll. We knew that the Jets were already making interviews. The Saints were already requesting interviews. Sorry. We already know what all of these teams are doing. We don't know what the Cowboys are doing. Mike McCarthy is not telling Jerry Jones, I want to leave if he takes that interview with the Bears, if he's given the chance. Mike McCarthy is saying, well, assuming he takes the interview, Mike McCarthy would be saying, well, I don't know if they want me back, so just in case, I'm going to talk to the Bears. That's different from, I don't want to be here, which is the way that Jerry Jones is kind of framing it. And again, it's just more examples of lack of seriousness from the Cowboys. And lastly, I'll say this. The worst part about the incentive thing that we talked about earlier is just like with draft and develop, just like with their free agency spending habits, just like with their contract extension habits, the Cowboys keep doing things differently from other NFL teams, which is all fine and well if it works out. But the Cowboys keep being so arrogant when they do things differently and they say, well, we do it like this, we do it like that, but have nothing to show for it. Except if we're talking about the 90s, of course. But the Cowboys do things their way and it doesn't work out, and they refuse to look at what's successful around the league. And I had somebody on Twitter tell me that, well, it is successful for the bottom line. And he's right? But it's not successful from a sports point of view. And sure, you can cook a burger your way, but if the burger tastes horribly, then what good is any of that, right? But hey, for now, we wait and we wait and we wait, because that is the Cowboys way. Hit the like button for me if you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you tomorrow night with more Cowboys content. Have a good one. Bye-bye.